My name's John. I work in construction in the agricultural industry, and I've always been in cars, but I come from a mechanical background. It's pretty obvious. There's a lot of mental problems in today's world. Pain, anguish, loss, and just the inability to actually deal with certain emotions. You know, that constant suppression of those emotions and not knowing what to do. That gives you a result of, like, whether it's anxiety or, you know, you turn to a substance or you turn to alcohol. There's a lot can be said. Some people just don't know how to function when the stress really hits, and they don't know what to do. My day-to-day life is very busy. I start really early in the morning and usually go till 6, 7 at night. My patience is tested a lot. The work I do, basically, it's millwright, construction, and agricultural equipment. You got to make things work most of the time when they don't necessarily want to cooperate. Kind of like mechanics, kind of like, you know, anything automotive as well. Some things go smooth, but the majority of the time you got to get pretty ingenious with some things. And sometimes it's frustrating, but you know, you just keep going. As much as it's Men's Mental Health Awareness Month, I'd like to say that everybody goes through mental anguish. I don't think men really know what to do when the shit hits the fan. Yeah, there are various outlets, there's therapy, there's all sorts of venues you can do. You can talk to your family, you can talk to friends, but I think men, you know, we're brought up to kind of suppress it and be a man, right? We're expected to be that way. It's a tough one. I don't think there's a lot or enough done for that. Even though there are some venues available, a lot of people are just not aware of where to go, so, you know, they suppress it. I think it's good that people show vulnerability. The problem with a lot of guys is they, you know, like I said, they suppress it. Eventually what happens is that just gets buried so much and it builds up and it builds up and it builds up, and then people break down. You know, we only have one life, right? And you hit 40, 45, you got maybe 30 years left of your life. It starts to hit you as if, you know, I haven't done this in my life yet, or I haven't gone here, or I'm supposed to be at this point in my life. You know, it does take a toll. Yeah, there's times in your life where, you know, in a relationship, say, you got to step up. Basically, another man would be stepping up where one failed. Have I ever been told to be a man? No, I just take a really good approach to things. I keep busy and I just try to do the good thing, the best thing that I possibly can. I mean, everybody's judged. I think that, you know, your worst critic and your worst judge is yourself. So there's that expectation to actually do what you can. You know, I've never been told to man up. That's not to say other guys aren't. I think if you find yourself in that situation, it's a tough win, because you're second guessing yourself, and then you have confidence issues, and then other things stem from that. There's that pressure, of course. You know, there's a lot of guys that go through a lot of pressure. You know, I think the best thing to do is just be yourself, be true to yourself, and do the best you can. And if you're a man in a tough position, you deal with it. You put one step in front of the other, and you just keep going. I'm just a firm believer, you put in the work, you'll get the results. Men deal with things in a way that either they were brought up dealing with, how they were shown to. It's not to say it's the right or the wrong way. I mean, everybody's unique and everybody goes through different situations that brings them to that point in life and how they are. As far as mental health anguish goes regarding toxic masculinity, it makes men second guess themselves, and I think that's pretty dangerous, especially when we're expected to be a certain way. You know, we're supposed to have this strong standpoint on life and know what to do in any situation. Like I said, it's pretty dangerous, and I think it's not worth it. Life's too short. Really buzz up your head about trivial things, really. Just get on with your life. Work, do what you gotta do. Get a hobby, do something you enjoy to keep you mentally sane. Whether it's going for a drive, whether it's, you know, wrenching on your car, whether a hobby is your car, whether you play music, video games, whether you just go for a walk, whether you go to the gym. Do something that keeps your mind active and keeps you out of trouble. But sometimes when you get so busy, you can kind of think to yourself, and that's almost like its own therapy. Do something that makes you feel good about yourself. Everybody goes a bit mental, you know. What's that movie, Tropic Thunder? You never go full mental, right? Yeah, people go full mental all the time. So they deal with it in their own way. And I think turning to a vice to dull that pain, it's not good. You got friends, you got family, pick up the phone. If you need to talk to somebody, then go talk to a therapist. Talk to your friends first. If they're not living in the same town, get on that phone, FaceTime, whatever. Say, hey, I'm not all right. Sometimes family's not always approachable for things like that. Sometimes it gets really personal. I think it's just important to understand, like everybody's going through things. Yeah, men's mental health is very important in the workforce, specifically blue collar. They're basically the backbone of a lot of things that get built. There's a lot more women in blue collar now, which is great. I'm all for equality and whatnot, but I think men deal with things very differently. There's a lot of pressure to be a man. Everybody's fighting a battle. Everybody's fighting a war. Men are good at burying it, and nobody knows what they're going through. Everybody's fighting that battle that nobody knows nothing about. Like I myself, I've gone through things, and the way I've just dealt with it, go to the gym, just get a hobby, just play sports, go out with friends, just get your mind off it. Like I'm no psychologist. I mean, I've talked to a therapist. My family broke down when I was younger, and separation and whatnot, and relationship troubles. But when it comes down to it, it's okay to talk to people. Don't bottle it up. Get it out and get on with your life. Sometimes you kind of wonder, do I really need to talk to a therapist? Well, sometimes the therapist might not jive with you, and you might come away thinking that maybe the therapist has more problems than you do. It's important to deal with whatever you're dealing with. Talk to somebody, get it out. Because having a clear mind, it's really important to actually live your life to the fullest potential you can. It's important to be happy. It's important to be sane in your mind. It's important to just get on with your life and be able to do the things that you're meant to do. I didn't really touch on any of the substance abuse and all that. That's really hard. Some people just sort of go down that rabbit hole and they don't really come back from it, and it's really sad. It's a big world out there, and everybody's got big potential.